today we're channeling Alparabeam, and we're mainly want to talk to him about CE5, Dr. Stephen Greer's meditation, and he has a certain way that he does his star being contact. And then, there's ways that we do it too. Like, what is the right way? What do we need to know about this? Do we trust CE5? As always, people in Hollywood, we kind of give the second, the side eye to. Welcome to 5D Channels and Chats with Rachel Chamness. As a shamanic channel and mentor, I'll be sharing wisdom and healing from higher dimensions through channeling beings of light. You will also hear liquid Reiki shamanic sound healing, channels between intuitives, and discussion on higher dimensional healing and channeling. You'll find links and more in the show notes, so be sure to check them. You can find me at soundwavesheal.com and my Facebook group, 5D Daily Spiritual Healers in Higher Dimensions. I really like Stephen Greer, but, let's hear from Alparabeam what he thinks, and let's see. Okay, so I'll bring in Alpar. You ask the questions, obviously. I'm just telling everyone else. Okay. I am Alpar.
Hi, Alpar. Thanks for being here. So, as Rachel mentioned, we are going to be talking about making contact with other galactical beings. So, my first question is, what do you think of Stephen Greer's CE5 method of contacting ETs?
It is a very guided method given to him by star beings. He has downloaded it and perfected it with those who came forward for him in person. And it is a way for the collective to learn to see and speak with beings on the earth plane. It is maybe deceptive in how easy it might appear. It does require that you do it often enough that you can release your fear and be seen as a person dedicated enough to receive the gift of seeing extraterrestrial beings with your own eyes. Although in early trials, you may see them with your third eye. It is something you need to do often, and you need to release many layers of programming, and it is made in this way for you to do so. And it is not from Stephen Greer himself. It is from extraterrestrials made for humans to use. So it is very high level, a beautiful way. And yes, I recommend it. We all do.
Okay. And so you would say it's successful then?
It is very successful if done many times.
Many times. Okay. Is there a number like that?
No, it depends on who is there and their level of comfort and belief and release.
Okay. And is the Sanskrit puja ceremony necessary for the CE5 method to work?
It is necessary for most people to use it. Yes, maybe not in its entirety, but in parts. It is best for most people to use it. If you are easily communicating with ETs, you may not need it, or you can do your own version. But if you are not easily in contact with many beings of light, then you will need to use the puja.
Okay. All right. Is there anything that could be added, taken away, or done to enhance the effectiveness of the CE5 method?
I recommend for most that are watching to use it exactly the way that it is.
Okay.
I can say that there are things to add, but unless you've done it 10 to 15 times, I would not change it in any way or add to it unless the addition is your own private communication in your mind to those you are contacting. That is always allowed, of course, whatever comes to you in your mind, but I do not recommend that you change it at all.
Okay. All right. And what is the most important thing to know regarding the CE5 method or making contact with ETs in general?
For the method, it is best that you really follow the directions. Try not to skip steps. Try to get equipment if you can over time. It is okay to do it without high-tech equipment or lasers, or some of the things they use are not expensive and some are, and you don't need them. You can do a very simplified version that doesn't cost much, but is just often enough with the same group or a group. It's important to know that to repeat the group, and knowing that when new people come, they may need to release. If you're constantly adding new people, you may be keeping yourself at a beginning state of this which is okay. Of course, you want to add more people, but if you add new people, they should maybe sit on one side and the people who have come regularly sit together. And that will increase the chances of seeing what you have come to see.
Oh, okay. Like, just what was the most important thing to know about the CE5 method or making contact?
The most important thing about making contact in general is that you have an open heart, open mind, that you release your layers of fear programming of earth, and that you have pure intentions. You aren't there because you want to brag or see tricks, but that you have a sincere wish to contact and meet others from other civilizations and places.
Okay. Is this method something that you could do, like, in a group of people, but, like, virtually over Zoom?
No,
Something
it
like
will
that?
not work that way.
Okay.
You must be outside. You must be farther away from the city as you can be. You don't need to be extremely far, and you can try open places, but you need open sky, and you won't want to be too close to a military base or a big city.
Okay. Okay, and what is the best way to clear and calm fear in those who do the CE5 or try to make contact with ETs?
It is best if, before you begin, you let those who are attending speak of any fears, warranted or unwarranted, even if these are ones they are trying to push away, to speak and communicate and have a conversation that will help them release it by knowing that others have felt that too, and the advice given in the circle will help. And to speak about it afterwards as well will help for next time. And
Okay.
many people who do this may see ships and lights and see things in their third eye, and maybe not see in the 3D a ship or a being, but being open to this experience may see from their third eye later.
Okay. So it could maybe enhance someone's, like, maybe they would have more contact in their dreams or meditation outside of doing CE5?
Yes.
Okay. How far away do you say from this? Is there like a distance you could give, like a guidance?
You must be far enough away to see the stars, to be in an open field. You would say maybe a place that feels a little more country than city.
Okay.
However, if you have someone who lives on the edge of city, who has a lot of land and not a lot of interruptions, such as large cell towers and things like that, this can also work. And if you don't have many options, then you can take one option, the best one you can find, and do it religiously until you receive a message of where you should move it to or until it works.
Okay. So you're saying it can't be done close to a residence, or it couldn't even be done like in someone's home if they weren't out in the country?
You may not do it inside now. If you would like to contact inside, then you must use your own method. You can, of course, bring those into your third eye inside and close to your residence, the back porch, but you may not get as far as to see a ship or a being in the 3D there. You may see lights if you're close to the country or have a wide view of the sky, and you may receive information through the third eye.
Okay. And so you said the equipment is helpful. Is there like some equipment that's more helpful than other equipment? Do you know?
The use of cameras in the way that Stephen Greer teaches to capture is very good and easy to do. And also the green lights. This medium doesn't have the words. It's like a flashlight of laser type. That's
Okay.
also helpful. But if you don't have it, don't let that stop you.
Okay. So is it easier to make contact using the CE5 method in a group of people versus going out into the field alone? Is there a difference?
Yes, it is easier. I would go at least two people is okay, but at least three or four people would help.
Because there's more people than calling in the energy.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And so how is the C5 method different than me connecting with galactics on my own in meditation or any kind of channeling?
Have you had success with channeling and seeing a 3D being or ship?
I feel like I've probably seen ships, but mostly in my third eye.
For you to see the beings in the 3D at this time, it is imperative that you follow these directions, which are not Stephen Greer's, but are from us, the beings who are helping your planet, downloaded by Stephen Greer. But you may, of course, do meditations inside and see and receive much information in your third eye. The difference is seeing in person.
Okay, yeah, that was going to be my next question. Could I do a meditation and have a being come to me in physical form that I can see with my physical human eyes?
It's going to be very difficult to have that inside. It is possible, but most likely will not happen at this time. And you
Okay,
are
so
fighting many energies inside your home. You are not alone. You may have others in the house. You may have others in the vicinity. You may have others next door or in the same building. This is deeply affecting this. Even if you live alone in a home in the country, you still need to go outside to do this method.
okay. There's a question from the audience that says, I'm unfamiliar with this method, so this question might sound silly. I'm curious if ETs that show themselves could not have our best interest at heart. So, could something nefarious come forward?
No, this is a very protected method, and it's a great question. Of course, you can always have the intention that you only work with beings of light, and that, of course, will also protect you. It is a very powerful statement.
Okay. All right. So this is a little outside of the CE5, but can we trust anyone who has worked in Hollywood, even if they're not like deep in Hollywood, but maybe they've done an interview with someone who's really, famous or popular in Hollywood?
It is a difficult question. The music industry in Hollywood is mainly not to be trusted, but there are those you can trust. You can trust Stephen Greer. As for others, you'll have to know that they are pressured upon, and you must use your discernment. It is something that you should definitely use deep discernment on. Anyone who works in Hollywood, whether they are a medium or a leader in the metaphysical field. But there are some who are very clear. There are many on Gaia, and there are some on Gaia who are not.
Okay.
And this is
All
not
right.
the same as Hollywood, of course, but I mention it because it is on your television.
Yeah. And there are some people who are on Gaia who have had ties with Hollywood in some way, even if it's just like a, production or, things like that.
Yes, but were they discovered by Hollywood? Did they start in Hollywood? This is a very big question. Or did their efforts extend to a movie? That does not mean that they began by Hollywood. Did they begin their notoriety in Hollywood and extend from there? That is where you will be most suspicious and need to look into further.
But we can trust Stephen Greer. Okay, all right. And I take it this is part of his mission. He must have had some really deep contact with ETs, and
He
this is
has.
part of his mission to bring them forward in a positive way so people aren't scared. Is
That's
that correct?
true. And he does, of course, attract the attention of Hollywood celebrities. And he does keep the peace, no, in a way that he must. But his discernment is on the right side.
Okay, all right. So, anyone who's watching, would it be beneficial for them to watch any Stephen Greer's films or documentaries, especially the one that talks specifically about the CE5 method? I think it's CE5 Contact or something like that.
Contact the CE5 experience. That is a great one to watch. And there are many to watch, and you should. Yes,
Okay.
he is a missionary for many extraterrestrials. It is his mission, and you can trust him and follow it and learn a great deal from him.
Okay. So, something that happens sometimes in the CE5 is people sometimes get healings and become healed of certain illnesses or ailments and things like that. Is that something that other people can experience, or do we have to do the CE5 and do we have to be with Stephen Greer and
Anyone can receive healing who believes they can be healed. You do not need CE5 to be healed. You do not need someone else to heal you. All of you who are listening, who are looking for healing, you may use help from a light worker or other to help you heal, but the healing comes from you, from yourself, from stepping into your own power of self-healing, and it is available to everyone on this planet to do so.
Okay. So we'll do some audience questions. Is it possible for some lower vibrational ETs to trap souls? Do they have that capability?
No, no, they can use entities. However, the human allows the entities. And so you cannot be trapped. There's always a way out unless you refuse to change or come to the light. It is always your own path and choice. And an ET, just like other entity beings, cannot trap you. You have to allow yourself to be fooled and trapped.
It probably maybe has to do with some limiting beliefs, some
Yeah.
fear.
Yes, a deep shadow work undone and ignored.
Okay. Someone asks, can we still ascend if we have parasites in our physical body?
Yes. There's
And
nothing that keeps you from ascending except for to completely reject ascension.
okay, that's good to know. Or what about they ask, or can we still ascend if we have any connection to etheric entities and physical parasites, things that are lower vibe?
Yes, you will be guided to clear them. And yes, you will be empowered to clear them. And not just by light workers, but soon on this planet, you will have the power to understand more of these layers and clearing yourself if you have not already learned from an empowering light worker who teaches you how.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you would like to share with us about the CE5 method or anything else before we wrap up?
You do not need to do the CE5 to believe in the messages that you receive from your starseed helpers. Please know that I am answering questions about how to see ETs in the flesh, see their ships, see them up close, see them in your physical reality. However, you may also do this with your clairs, and it does not need to be seeing is believing. You can believe what you receive as a channel, which all of you are. And so we beg you to believe the messages you are receiving, to believe in yourself and use your own discernment and not follow blindly anyone. These are important steps to rise yourself above third dimensional and fourth dimensional fears and rhetoric into the 5D.
Okay. We have another question. Can ETs help us with clearing deep shadow work, and how can they help us and in what specific way?
Yes, they can help you in many ways. They can help you receive extra healing modalities to heal yourself, to heal with them, to realize what shadow work you do need to work on, what you do need to do for yourself. Just like other beings, you can contact angels and fae, except your star beings are here in the fifth dimension in this reality and are here specifically to help you in a way that is different than asking help of angelic beings and source and spirit guides. We are not quite in spirit. We are just vibrating higher, but we are also here in this reality with you.
I think that wraps it up for us. Thank you for being here. We always appreciate spending time with you, and we look forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you. Okay, that was cool. He was like, we are guides. We're not like the same. That's an interesting way to think of it. You know, we got angels bringing in source energy, helping us. But, you know, fae, elementals, starseed beings, they are in this reality with us. They're just vibrating higher. They're not spirit.
Yeah,
Your
that's
spirit
what,
guides are spirit. Your angels are spirit. That's very cool
yeah,
distinction.
that's what, when I got that big download a couple years ago from that Anunnaki, that's what she told me. She's like, we are there with you. We are walking amongst you. We are just in a higher dimension, a
Yeah,
higher frequency. Yeah.
that was really neat.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool.
Well, that was your question, Leslie. Well, of course, as you guys know who are in TAG Lightworkers, this is the kind of thing we do. We contact all these beings to give us personal help. And
And we
so,
get healing modalities and
mhm. And
yeah.
healing. And you know, ETs can always, and he showed me this, you know, come around you and put you like in a healing, like a med bed, like a higher dimensional med bed, but it's a little different because I always see them standing around me. I feel like I'm in this, healing chamber, I think is the BQH term for it.
Yeah, and I feel like, because I asked him about the healing, and I started to see, because you and I had talked about it and how it was important that you do it more than once, that you're doing it, often. And I was going to ask him, well, why do we have to do it often? And then I just got this information that it's because we are in this dense physical form. So that's why it doesn't work so instantaneous, that it might work, that a healing might work for an ET who's vibrating higher, because they're not as physical as we are. So that's why it can take more time to really heal deeply in our physical bodies.
Yeah, I think so. Like you really have to release. And I like that idea he gave me because I was like, what? When he was like, every time you add new people to your CE5, like that it would be harder. And I was like, well, that sucks. You don't want to be like, can't come. We don't be a closed group. That sounds terrible.
Right.
And so I like that idea that, well, okay, people who come often sit on this side, you're looking this way, the new people, like he shows me like a horseshoe or a circle, they're looking this way, but that can kind of help. And I feel that he's telling me now that you're bringing these people who have come over and over and over, and you're building energy. So this is like a big thing about retreats that I love. It's like you build energy with each other and you build these connections. And then in the room with these other mediums physically, or channels or healers, your channeling or healing is amplified. And so if you're coming weekly with these people, monthly, and you're sitting all together, you're amplifying. And that amplification, he's showing me, amplifies the new people, and it helps. And so if you discuss it, also everyone will be guided to give information that can help them faster get to the point so that you can do it together. That was really good advice. I knew there was something extra that we needed to know, and I think that was it.
Yeah.
But I was really surprised. He was like, nope, don't change it.
Yeah, I know. I was too. I was like, oh, that's not what I was expecting.
I know. I was like, I was here for the hack. Like, let's ask him these questions and find out what the hack is.
Right.
That's the easy way. Tracy has a question. Are any of the galactic beings that we communicate with in spirit, or was Alparabeam saying none are in spirit? So they're not in spirit. They are in higher dimension. If they are coming to us as a galactic.
It's hard to explain, right?
But I think too, you could have a spirit guide who is in spirit and showing themselves as a galactic. I've seen before a client whose husband had passed away, and he was now showing himself as a Pleiadian being, and he was in spirit. So I think maybe this is a very good question to ask. Are you in spirit, or are you here on this plane vibrating higher? And what dimension?
I think it's also different. Maybe like when I think of like an angel, I feel even though they might present as like a physical form, they're really just energy. And I know we're all energy, but they're just this ball of light or flowing light or whatever, where maybe the ETs, even though they're not dense forms like we are, they still have maybe more of a form than an angel.
Yeah, I would think so. And angels are just they're just part of source. They're just a expression of source, just like we are, and our higher souls, and just like the higher soul of Alparabeam. Oh, so you guys can download the CE5 app, and it gives you all the directions. And there is that movie, Contact. Well, Alpar knew what it was called. Contact.
It's like CE5 Contact. You can
it starts with Contact, and it's on Apple TV. It's on Gaia. You can actually go on Amazon and get like a free 7 days with Gaia and watch it, like that.
It's also free on Tubi. So that's another streaming app that you can use. And a lot of his documentaries are free there.
Well, Christina asks, I have to find people in my area that would want to do this with me now. That's actually in the app. Yeah, it's in the app. You can like write to people.
Yeah, I know. I was on the app, and you can actually put in like a search area or where you live, and then they'll show you all the people, and then you can just like message them. And I had a few people message like, hey, do you want to join our group? And
cool.
Yeah, I got nervous, so I was like, I don't know. I don't know these people. I don't want to meet them out in the middle of the night.
That's the other thing. Are you going to meet like random people out in the middle of the nowhere?
Yeah.
And I kind of got, when you asked that question, could you just go by yourself outside? And he was kind of like, that's not really safe. Go with at least one other person. Like, that's kind of how I felt about that answer. He was like, go with at least one or two other people, and but also that, and it
And
increases.
not
Yeah.
because the galactics are unsafe, but because of your, surroundings,
Yeah.
like I know I actually went out and did this meditation out in a field by myself once, and it was pretty crazy. And then all of a sudden I got some like I can't remember if it was an animal I heard, and it startled me out of my meditation. And so I decided to leave. And then later on I found out that there was some weird like bad activity that happened back there. Like somebody got like hurt like in the middle of the night. Like somebody was like I don't know, something bad happened, and I talked to my mentor at the time, this is like 15 years ago, and she was like, "Yeah, spirit was, getting you out of there. That's why you heard that animal in the background to bring you out of your meditation, so you
Oh,
would
wow.
get up and get out of there because it wasn't safe for you to be out there."
So guys, bring someone with you.
Yeah,
Tracy
right.
says, I have many on my team. Maybe I'll check in and see if they are in spirit. I think everyone should ask. Yeah, let's start asking our galactic helpers. Are you here or are you in spirit? Let's do it. And I never thought of that before. That's very cool. I'm so
Yeah,
glad we asked him all these questions.
yeah.
And Tracy's coming to my Smoky Mountain retreat in
Oh,
May. So we're gonna do a version. I'm not sure yet, but I've been doing my next August in Costa Rica. We have the full go-to for a true CE5, the whole shebang.
well, and what
That's
I
pretty
was
cool.
thinking is before people go to your retreat, and if you're going to be doing some CE5 stuff, I mean, Stephen Greer has the CE5 meditation on YouTube. So you could practice, at least start practicing before
It's on
you
the app
go.
too. The whole thing's
Yeah,
on
oh,
the
right,
app.
or the app. Yeah, you can
Mhm.
use the app and start practicing, even though, it might just be third eye experiences. It'll still get you ready.
Actually, I had great experiences through my third eye doing the CE5. I did it
Yeah,
outside my house, which was too close to downtown. I couldn't see the sky. Like I did it totally wrong. I started getting eaten up by mosquitoes. I went inside. This is when we were doing it. We were trying to do with Reiki, like at different places, all doing it together, which he said doesn't work. So, okay, now we know. So I did that. And then I came inside and I was like dying. I was like covered in mosquito bites. I was so aggravated. Like my natural spray didn't work. So I was starting a bath and I was waiting on the bath. And then suddenly that's when I saw this blue avian, like clearer than I've ever seen before. It wasn't Alpar. His name was Don L. And he was the one who he gave me all kind of information. He's like, we sent you here. Tell me all this stuff. It's all in my blue avian blog post, but it was crazy. And I was like, oh my God.
this is
It
so
was
cool.
wild. He was almost 3D, like except that he was in the cabinet. Like I was looking at the cabinet and he was also there. And it was like I could see him like standing there and then I could see the cabinet. It was like it was super trippy. That's a lot
Wow.
of times how I see them though. It's like it's almost like magic eye photos. I
Oh,
see
yeah,
both at the same
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Mhm.
And Christina says, I live in the woods. I'd feel safe here by myself. Yeah, I still think second or third person will help. And plus, you want someone else to be like, I saw that. So in
Right.
the app, he also shows you different ways that they show themselves. And so you want to be
And
like, I saw that. Yeah,
it amplifies when you have more people, it amplifies the energy, like you were saying, like whether you're
definitely.
channeling, doing healing, doing a meditation, it amplifies the energy. That's why Stephen Greer, he talks about it all the time. Like he's trying to get 1% of the population all at the same time to do this meditation because it can really up level our planet and get us to even a higher timeline.
It's going to be great. All right, everybody practice and report back.
Yeah, right.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you,
Yeah.
Olivia. Thank you for doing this and
Yeah.
asking questions. That
Yeah.
was
I like
great.
doing
I'm gonna think about all these answers he gave us.
that. Right. It's good
Totally.
information.
All right. Thanks everybody for coming. All
All right.
right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining me for today's episode. If you are a healer or spiritual entrepreneur, present or future, I'd like to invite you to my Facebook group, 5D Daily Spiritual Healers in Higher Dimensions, where I'll be live for more discussion and questions on Thursdays. I'll put the link in the show notes. I'm Rachel Chamness at Sound Waves Heal.